Hey, so what's your name or what would you like to be called?
My name is John.
And so, how long have you been in this encampment or houseless in general?
I've been houseless since the end of 2019.
And so, what's your story?
So my story is, I was born and raised here in Eugene, Oregon. I struggled all my life with addiction, and I finally got a foothold on that when I was 25. Had my first child, my son. He was born in 2005, and that gave me the ability and the courage and strength to sober up and get clean off of amphetamines. I was clean for about 10 years off of amphetamines. I was married for 7 years. I got divorced, and I started drinking heavily, and my addiction problem reared its ugly head just with something else, and that was alcohol. About a year into that, I ended up going to prison for a burg charge because I tried to beat up my neighbor in his house for assaulting my son. And I went to prison for 30 months for that. It gave me time and clarity to actually be sober. It was the longest period of time in my life that I was actually sober from all substance. The 10 years I was clean off amphetamines, I was still drinking, smoking pot here and there. I was, a functioning addict. I got out of prison in 2018. I moved up to Portland. As my kids and their mother had moved to Washington, so I wanted to be closer to them. Things were going fairly smooth, and then I started having problems with their mother. She had remarried, and she didn't trust that I was completely sober, and that really affected me a lot, actually, because I was actually sober. I was the healthiest I'd ever actually been in my entire life. I got a job with the union, Carpenters Union member. I was making really good money. I was on the path to be able to buy my own home within a year. But she was able to convince her new husband, along with my kids, that I had been using and I was not safe to be around. Even though my parole officer continued to tell her that every time she called and accused me of using, he never got any dirty UA from me. He was always clean. I was, so as far as he knew, and he was convinced I was clean. She still pushed and persisted, and my kids ended up they stopped talking to me towards the end of 2019. I broke my heart. I wanted to commit suicide, but I just didn't have the courage to, so I tried heroin for the first time at 36 years old. It was the biggest mistake of my life, because that started this cycle that I found myself stuck in, along with the pandemic. Things were hard, and once family members found out that I had a problem with heroin, even though they knew who I was without heroin, they've heard the horror stories about heroin and heroin addicts, and they just couldn't trust me. So I found myself on the streets. I couldn't hold a job since the end of 2019 up until 6 months ago, and I finally got a job at the Jiffy Lube across the street, and I've just been kind of bouncing back and forth from this camp to other spots, trying not to be here because of my heroin addiction. Makes it really hard to stay clean, but it's so convenient for work. And here I am. I've recently relapsed. I was clean for 2 months, and then I relapsed again. And here I stand.
Thank you for your story.
Yeah.